Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another Word of Wisdom Wednesday. Hello, I am Theresa White, registered drama therapist, licensed mental health counselor, and I am the Black drama therapist and the host of the podcast Proverbs of the Black drama therapist. With Word of Wisdom, or what we'll call our Wow Wednesdays, it's just a time for me to share a short snippet. Um, Maybe a short expansion of a snippet of an aha moment or a wow moment or wisdom nugget from my therapy experiences, whether it's from a client or something that I got while working with the client or talking to someone regarding therapy. And so this week, as I was trying to go back in my um, week of looking like, oh, what would be a good therapy aha moment? What came to me was actually an encounter that I had over this Saturday when we were present during the Women Wellness Extravaganza, discussing or viewing the documentary "The Black Woman Death to the Superwoman Syndrome" from Sears Media. If you missed it, woo, did you miss an event? But the documentary that I'm a part of was absolutely phenomenal. I think it was great, greatly done, and greatly edited. All the team that was a part of it did a wonderful job. With that being said, I did a live podcast called Faith Move with Teresa Sears. And so as I was talking, and answering questions on the live podcast, after talking to someone, I don't know if I said this during the podcast or someone came up to me and was talking to me about my therapy services. But this wisdom nugget or aha moment came from that conversation. And so I was thinking about what to share with you all today. And I was like, I think that'd be a really good one. So what I stated was I recognized that during my experience as a therapist, lately, as I have been really doing some inner healing work and healing through a lot of different things, I probably have had this happen before in the past, but it really was a state of like aha, as the Lord said it to me this past weekend. But I recognize that the Lord has brought me to me. I know you're like, what? What does that mean? The clients that I've talked to, the and I've worked with them maybe years in the past or worked with them months in the past. But recently, it's like the things that I am helping them with is me, like things that I need help with or things that would be wisdom for me. And so, for example, I was talking to a person regarding a stress with regards to relationships in their family or or such like it. We talked about setting boundaries and taking care of themselves. And as I was giving the wisdom nugget or the aha moment, or not aha moment, but a question or my reflection to them, the reflection, literally, that's a great word, the reflection back to me was, write that down for you. I was like, oh, that's good. I had to write that for myself. And I even said it to out loud to the person I was working with. And they started laughing, like, yes. And I recognize that there's a lot of times recently that God has, and I give credit to God, that He has been bringing me in front of me. So that because I recognize that I will give wisdom, take care of other people. And I have had a pattern of doing that and neglecting me. And so he put me in front of me and said, okay, now you got to deal with what you've been trying to neglect. Yeah, that's the wisdom nugget. And I say that because sometimes we will look like we won't know that that's what God is doing to speak to us. And it can be when you're asking questions about if you've struggled with wanting to know your purpose, what's my gift, what's my call, what's my next move. Say those are your four questions, right? Or one of your questions. The Lord will bring you to you. And what I mean by that is the people that he brings to you in conversation or what they need or what they're asking for, what you feel tugged on in your heart to do for somebody or do with somebody could absolutely be the way that God is answering the question of what's my purpose, what's my next move, what am I to do. So your wisdom or what word of wisdom wow moment is pay attention to you And if you're having a hard time paying attention to you, pay a little bit more attention to the you in front of you, to the people that God is sending your way, whether it's children or the elderly or adults or friends or whoever, whatever that problem is that's coming right in front of you over and over again, or that gave you like a moment of like, whoa, I'm dealing with that. That's God bringing you to you. That's God saying, oh, here go an answer. Here go what you need to focus on. Here is what I'm bringing in your face so that you can deal with it. Because you'll deal with it with a support person. You will deal with it with a loved one. You will deal with it when you are working with somebody you're doing something for. And as women, especially African American women, a lot of times we will absolutely jump on the bandwagon to help somebody else and say, I'll deal with myself later. I'll take a bath later. I'll soak and relax, or I'll go, take care of that. I'll eat later. And I know that sounds like, yeah, that's me. That's funny, but it's really sadly true. But the wisdom of the Most High is so great, because when he kept saying, I was like, he's bringing me to me. And when I said it to the women, they were like, wow. I'm like, yeah, I'm telling you, I've learned that. That's been my moment of like, I'm never at a place where I feel like I know it all. So when people are coming in my space and I'm working with them, I recognize that they have some great insight and some great wisdom to their own lives. And so I'm just here to help them pull that out, help them to heal and to navigate through what they've been blocking in themselves. The great thing about God is while I'm helping them, he's helping me and he's healing me. And it makes me say, oh, I didn't recognize that that's something that I get irritated by. So let me give a tangible or specific example. Something that one of the people that I was working with just kept irritating me. They would do things and I was like, why does that bother me so much? Like, it's not, they just kept dominating or talking over or like speaking, to other people when I was trying to talk to them. And I was like, wait, like let me finish my statement, right? But I recognized that bothered me because it brought up some feelings in me of like, this is, you feel like you're being ignored, or you feel like your words are not respected, right? And so instead of like darting the person or directing my frustration at them, I turned it and was like, what is it that I need to work on in me, right? And I'm not saying that everybody may be there, but that's a wisdom moment of like, that's when you're growing in wisdom, when you can say, oh, maybe it's not about them, maybe it's about me. Now, I'm not saying that somebody doing something to you or disregarding you is not important, you don't need to address it. But this kept being an issue. And it was like, when I really looked at it, I was like, why does this bother you so much? What is it about this particular individual? And it wasn't the person that was bothering me, it was just what they were doing. And I recognized that it was like, oh, because it brought up this feeling, or it brought up that thought of, oh, maybe you don't feel like your words are important or your words matter. And so I was like, oh, that's me in front of me. So again, that's God's way up. You want to know God, what should I do? Here goes when we pray. Father, what's my next move? What should I do, God? Then the phone ringing, and like, hey, girl, you ain't gonna get something to eat? No, I can't. I'm praying. And maybe, and I'm not saying ignore God by any means when I say this, but sometimes the Lord will bring someone else in your way or in your face, again, as a reflection. That's your mirror. This is what I need to look at, my mirror, to say, this is what I need to focus on. And so that's your word of wisdom. Pay attention to what keeps showing up in your atmosphere. Who shows up in your atmosphere, what they bring in your atmosphere, because that's what you need to address. That's what you need to focus on. Whether it is, everybody keeps talking about growing and taking care of themselves. Maybe that's something you need to take a note of and say, oh, maybe God is rehearsing this in my atmosphere because I need to pay attention to it. Or maybe, at work, there keeps being procrastination happening. It's like, why do I keep putting things off? What's going on? What is wrong? Why am I so tired? Whatever that may be, that keeps circling in your atmosphere. So now that I know people are coming up on the solar eclipse and people are getting ready for that, I want you to be mindful that is absolutely like a solar. Like, it's like, this is what keeps coming around the atmosphere. Be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain, anyway. Drama therapist in me, y'all. But I want you to think about that. So for a moment, For this word of wisdom, I'm gonna give you a challenge like I do people that I work with. I want you for the next 48 hours to intentionally pay attention to what comes in your space, what they talk about, who it is, what they talk about, and maybe are they toxic? Okay, sometimes it's not always positive things, but whatever it is, may be something that the Lord is bringing in front of you so that you can address it. And you don't have to be a person of faith for this. God still is going to speak, and He still is going to be involved in your life. But that's just who He is. And so He's like, here's what I want you to do next. Here's what the next move is. Here's what you need to be working on. Here's what I want to talk to you about. You want to know why? Because I've been hearing your heart, even when you've been ignoring it, even when you've been putting yourself on the back burner. I've been paying very close attention to what you sigh about. Come on, Jesus. What you complain about, what you hurt about. And so I will do what it takes to get to your heart, even if it means putting someone else in your face for you to recognize that I've been here trying to get your attention about this issue, this problem, this concern, this question. I've been answering you. I want you to pay attention and stop ignoring the answer. And so for me, I was like, and so I started paying attention, like, wow, that person talked about that. And it could be a whole different top subject, but it kept hitting on things that I had just talked to God about or just was asking questions about. I'm like, I think God is bringing me to me. So that's your word of wisdom for this wonderful Wednesday. And I hope that you got something from it. Share it with somebody, because it may be like, girl, what's going on in my life? Or I don't know what's going on, man. This may help bring some clarity. And yes, God can talk through dreams and different things like that, but He also brings the people to have a conversation, maybe about their problem, and you got a solution for it. And that may be, what's my purpose? Maybe that is for you to help in this capacity, or for you to do, said thing, or to address something happening in you so that you can grow and be better and be more mature and wise in whatever the next step is in your life or stage in your life. So thank you so much for joining today or tonight with Word of Wisdom Wednesday with Theresa White, registered drama therapist, licensed mental health counselor. If you want to continue to get more wisdom, as I call them, Proverbs, follow me or subscribe to our podcast, Proverbs of the Black Drama Therapist. Our next episode will be released on tomorrow. So I want you to get some more good wisdom when we talk about social, mental, and what's happening in our lives in general, right? And I think that once we pay attention to those wisdom nuggets and we listen to those proverbs, our life will be abundant, it will be peaceful, and we can be free and heal like we're supposed to. Have a blessed and beautiful week, and I will hopefully see you on our next Word of Wisdom Wednesday. Bye-bye.